Didn't 2024 go by fast?
Anyway, this is the next stage of our journey from van life to almost off-grid. Our Quinta covers around 30 hectares of mountain and terraces in the Serra da Estrela mountain range in beautiful rural Portugal. I'm not sure how many acres that is. Maybe you can let me know in the comments. As you can imagine, just keeping the land free of scrub is a big job, and we're always grateful for a bit of help. It's wonderful being in nature, and as we come into our third winter here, we've still got a lot to learn. One of our big preoccupations in this arid region is our water supply. It's all spring fed and always freezing cold, but it does need a bit of maintenance. Of course, it isn't always sunny.
This is snow. This is the first time you've seen snow, isn't it? What's going on here?
We also get some strong winds way up this high, so maybe I shouldn't have bought a cheap polytunnel. In the middle of February, we had to brave the sleet and rebuild as best we can. Our lovely neighbour lent us his post hole digger, and this meant that we could put in some proper reinforcement. With that backup, we could get on with raising our seedlings for later in spring.
So of course, when the weather's not particularly nice outside, we do find other things to do, and one of the things that I did was actually wrote a book. It's called Diary of a Psychopath, and no, it's not an autobiography, but it is available on Amazon and the link is down below.
As we've done previously, we're raising more chicks. Of course, we do get male birds, and as they don't lay eggs, another use has to be found for them. As the weather warmed up, Ev cleared out the hay barn while I started to sketch out first plans for a tiny house. We want somewhere to live whilst we start work on the big house, rather than living in amongst all the dust. We want to keep these lovely old chestnut beams if we possibly can, but the roof needs to be completely redone. Friend, the village dog, is becoming much less nervous. He spends a lot of time on the Quinta, and this will have unintended consequences later in the year. Still, they are great guard dogs. With the large-scale arrival of the Asian hornet in Portugal, our bees were decimated, with neither colony unfortunately making it through last winter. Later in the spring, a wild swarm arrived in one hive, but they haven't thrived either, so of course that means no honey harvest this year. If you've got any ideas to tackle the Asian hornet, do let me know in the comments.
Right, what do we have in here? Lovely cheese on toast.
With the arrival of spring, we can get outdoors more and more, and get on with clearing the dead trees and scrub around the land. Our camper that brought us out to Portugal was unfortunately destroyed by the wildfire. We simply couldn't get it off in time, so we finally got around to scrapping it. Sad day. It's time to start planting out our aubergines and tomato beds, giving them a good soaking to get things going. We actually had quite a cold spring, so the plants are not as established as we'd hoped. Oh well. Then it's on to making a start on the tiny house. Off comes the roof, saving the tiles to be reused where we can, and levelling up the walls to install a ring beam. We had friends help us install the huge ridge beam, and then we got on with putting a new roof on before the winter rains. At the end of May, I visited the UK to be one of many people helping out with setting up Shinefest. I got to drive a tractor and it was great fun. The 10th anniversary is at the end of May next year, so why not come and say hi? I'll put the links down below so you can find your tickets. Then it was back home and on to building a shower/lavatory block. I followed this with building a pergola to give anyone staying in the caravan a shady place to sit out and relax. How long did that take?
I would say 3 hours in total.
We found out that the local open cast mine was trying to expand, publishing the plans whilst everyone was on holiday. That really brought the community together to object, and even got me on the news.
this summer we left Aymeric in charge of the Kinta alongside a couple of Ev's cousins who came to visit, and we put the barn conversion on hold and spent some lovely time in Greece with Shining Kev of Shinefest fame, along with a bunch of lovely friends from the UK. Just before we left, I did my back-in, and perhaps you can see how that happened. And so it was, we arrived back on the Kinta and to the village fete on the 15th of August, which is the 2-year anniversary of the devastating wildfire that nearly destroyed the Kinta in its entirety.
Back to what we'll call Maya's Greek adventure, and it turned out she wasn't getting fat through eating too much. On the 4th of October, she gave birth, and 6 puppies survived the first few weeks and were soon charging around. They grew really fast, and of course they are huge fun. Naturally, the daily tasks of planting and harvesting carried on too. The olive harvest came and went, and it was a bit smaller than last year, probably because the summer was so dry. Time came for the puppies to have their check over by the vet and their first jabs. They passed with flying colours.
Todo ele é grande.
See?
And then I tried to make a bit more progress on the tiny house project. At least it's waterproof now, but far from finished. I managed to get hold of half a wild boar, which gave me a chance to try out butchery for the first time. It went better than I thought, even if I was a bit worried that I would muck it up. Here's wishing you all the very best for 2025. See you next time on the Kinta. As the puppies turned 8 weeks old, it was time for them to move on to their forever homes, and luckily they're all going to lovely people with lots of space to explore. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Do please share if you did, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see more of. Here's wishing you all the very best for 2025 and see you in the next video.